Okay, today I'm going to attempt to show you how I change guitar strings. Hopefully you can see my Les Paul. It's still got its original strings on, which are great. I mean, they still sound great, but yeah, time to change them, I think. I'm going to be changing, today I'm going to be using these Charlie & John's, handmade in the USA, sort of fancy artisan strings, made with a unique blend of nickel and iron. These are 10s, they're shorter scale Les Paul, probably what it needs. I'd love to try some 9s on these at some point, but I've got some 9s are going elsewhere. Okay, so without further ado, let's get this off. Do I have to cut this, or will it just unwind out? This is where a string winder might come in handy. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just undoing this bottom E on the top string enough to get it off. I think they've tied this. Is that a luthier's knot? I think it was just bent round lots and lots of times. I haven't really got the eyesight for this. It's got that out, and this type of guitar on the bridge, the strings just slot through. They have a ball on the end to catch them. They sit on the correct post there. There's a little niche for them, and then when you put them in, they also sit inside the nut. So I'll show you how to change one. I won't bore you with all of them. Right, let's take. Okay, so that's my used string. So I'm going to show you one, but one of the things I want to do is that this fingerboard is really quite dry. So after I've shown you one, I'm going to take the others off. And I'm just going to use some fretboard conditioner just to moisten that fretboard again, because it's a while since it's had anything and it's not looking great. I've just thrown my pliers down into this bed. I was also hoping these might be colour coded or a guide or something, but we'll see. So let's open this pack up. That's easier. First and fourth, that is the thickest of the two. Now some strings have colour-coded balls on the end, and then on the packet they tell you which colour is which string, but not to worry. On these strings, something else people sometimes do is I'm going to put the string in with the ball end at the bottom to catch on the bottom of the bridge to hold it in place and bring it up. But sometimes people do what's called stringing over, which is they go the opposite way, so the ball catches on the inside, and then they turn the string immediately back round and string it over the tail and then across the bridge as normal. And it's supposed to give slightly better sustain and make it easier to bend, because there's not quite that angle between the tail and the bridge. It's over the top, so it's a bit shallower. But I've yet to be convinced. I know a lot of guitarists in the 60s and 70s did that, and it was really popular, but I've just not seen or heard anything at all that makes me think that's the way to go. That's nice. It's a bit, I think that's just the core on the end, the hexagon core, without the string wound around it, which makes it a bit easier to see it and get it through. That doesn't have to be terribly lined up yet, but that's where it will sit. One thing people sometimes do, especially on cheaper nuts, this is Gibson, so that's a nice bone nut, is sometimes put some graphite to lubricate the slots of the nut. And the way you would do that is just to get a pencil and rub it over the top and let some of that dust fall in. I think that's mainly on cheaper guitars. And the reason you do that is because the string moves slightly, so it can saw and it can slightly cut into the, especially plastic nuts. And if that's the case, then it would start to buzz and it'd be hard to get it into tune. I'm not going to do that because this is a Gibson nut, so I'm going to trust it. What you have to do is leave a bit slack, because that's the slackness that's going to go around the tuning peg, and work out. Actually, no, I'll show you the easier method. I was going to cut the string, but the easiest way is to just put some slack into it now. If you are going to cut it, a rule of thumb is 2 pegs worth of space, but we won't do that. We'll put it straight through and then start to fasten and rotate it. In you go. And you see a bit of slack there, bit of slack. Let's just start to tighten that, spin that around a little bit. You can just tilt that up a bit just to get it out of your way. What you've got to try and do as well is get the winds going downwards. This is where you need a winder because it's going to take forever to turn this. And you only want like a few turns so you can cut off everything that's left over at that point. And if you get too much or too little, which is looking like I might have done here, then you can always just unstring it at this point and start again. Show you how easy it is when things don't go to plan. I'm just going to let a bit of that out just to give me another wind's worth. It can take up the slack. That's beginning to feel a bit more like it. Make sure I'm in the nuts. Make sure I'm in the saddle. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a tuner just to see how close that is. And I'm not going to tune it just yet because there's one more important step to go. I made a bit of a meal of this, you know. It shouldn't be this long. Okay, so that's really a very low A at the moment. One thing you absolutely need to do is to bend the strings. And I'm just going to do this, I do this by pulling with that finger and pushing with the thumb. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm pulling with some and I'm pushing back with the thumb just to stretch that a bit. And then you can put that under full tension. Oh, that sounds good. Right. Oh, maybe the strings, maybe I didn't stretch the strings enough. Right, that's spot on. And then basically all you do then is when you're happy with it, you just cut any excess off here. And that's it. Right. Leave me to it. I'm gonna restring all the other strings on this guitar. That's how simple stringing a guitar is.
One eternity later.
Right, well here is the completed restrung guitar. I've got to say, loving these strings. Is it just me, or do they look cleaner and brighter than normal strings? And the weird thing was that even unplugged, they sounded really good, really clear. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye now.